Crucible campaign after fabulous form at the qualifiers. A multiple World and Masters finalist, a multiple German Masters champion, winner of 6 ranking titles in all. He will relish the stage and the atmosphere here. Here he comes, flying high, the captain, Ali Carter. Finally, to the greatest player in history, emerging for a record-extending 33rd consecutive Crucible campaign, back on the big stage and back in a match for the first time in 3 months, the 7-time champion of the world, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Hazel. What an atmosphere.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
And the speculation over let battle commence. And of course, always a pleasure to be sat next to the other 7 times champion of the world.
At the chair, not the normal fist bump that Ronnie gives. They actually look like quite a warm handshake. That's good to see, because we just want to see a classic match on the table. And it's got all the ingredients of being so. Fascinated, as I'm sure everyone is, to see how Ronnie O'Sullivan plays. Because, and to be frank, JV, the tournaments are not the same without him.
No, you get your special players in our game. Just add that little bit of spice.
One thing, I don't think Ronnie would have turned up to play here if he wasn't prepared, as in having put work in on the table. Obviously, match practice is something that he's been lacking for the last 3 or so months.
Yeah, I suppose, in a way, we know all the talk about him breaking his cue, and he's been trying out other cues that have been made for him, so that in its way would have made him get on the practice table, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it gives you an incentive, something to, it gives you an interest to actually enjoy working out, you know, what works best for you.
So a clear path now to the reds for Ronnie to play a safety shot, getting the cue ball back to that baulk cushion. Not ideal, catching the green.
One.
Good opening pot.
Absolutely love Ali Carter's technique, the way he hits the ball. I think one of the best things about his action, his technique, is his backswing. The last backswing before he delivers a cue is just perfection. The speed of it. It's just beautiful. It just leads him into playing the shot beautifully.
8.
Would have hoped for a better result than that after potting the black. I don't think he's on anything.
Ali Carter 8.
Decent safety shot from Ali, but I think Ronnie can just get past the yellow to play the safety down the left-hand side of the table. Yes, he can just get through to this red. And that was a helpful kiss off the brown. Possible red to the far right corner. Maybe too early in the match for Ronnie to play it. Just wants to settle in. So just a safety.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised he didn't at least look at it, because he could have topped it in, left the cue, played for the blue. There was nothing that went to the left corner. I suppose the only red he could have left was the one he was playing, so I mean, didn't even give it a glance, really. Clearly just wants to play himself in, but Ali Carter's found a nice little clip there.
Five.
Choice of reds now to this right corner. You'd think it'd be the outside one and go up for the blue. He's got one he could play for the black, but he'd have to guide the cue ball through a gap. Safety one is play for blue or pink.
6.
Judged it nicely. Perfect on the blue.
You can see the sort of grimace from Ali Carter. You want to be able to play for the black from this red. You see the angle he's got. You want to be straight on it. And the angle he's got is actually not that straightforward, I don't think, to get right angle on the blue. You've got to avoid the right middle pocket with the cue ball. Yeah. So just...
12.
I mean, you always say, JV, you talk about fractions in the game. He was literally half an inch out, and it made all the difference. Now he's nowhere.
Yeah, and there wasn't much excuse for it, because he was perfect on the blue. Looks like he's playing the pink here, cutting it back into the middle. Cue ball running loose. But he's guided it nicely. It's all about pace. A little bit heavy.
80.
I think he can still cut one back into the left corner, but he was looking for something easier than this.
Yes, I keep saying it's the easy shots, the easy things that let you down in snooker, and it was such an easy shot from blue to stun down for that red to left corner, leave it straight for the black.
Foul.
And now, two
Oh,
shots
counts
later,
18.
it's end of break.
RonnieO'Sullivan 4.
When he looked to be in a chance to win the frame in one visit.
So this now, well, I was going to say his first attempt at a pot. You see, well, he has played the pot. He's played it in a way that he could get the cue ball back to the baulk end comfortably.
There's two chances of pots he hasn't even looked at. Is this a new Ronnie?
Well, we talked about that straight red into the right corner early on. There's no way to normally refuse that, but maybe he's just settling in, and
Yeah.
it's understandable.
Has the rocket turned into a rock?
Yeah, as I say, he's had a couple of half chances he's turned down. The acid test, of course, will be when he gets in. Not the best safety shot, that, though. He nearly caught the bump of the middle pocket. Just about got past the baulk line. This red, I'm certain now he would take it on no problem, but he's hampered by the green, which makes it a bit more difficult. Now then, where's this red going to run to? Covered by the yellow. But there's definitely a pot on here. Two reds near the top cushion. The top one cuts. So, first real attempt at a pot now for Ronnie.
One. Yellow ball, thank you. RonnieO'Sullivan 1. One.
Excellent cueing. Could pot that. He's always trusting a little bit to luck as a good position. You see the pink goes, but it might look, because he's not right behind the pink, a little bit tight. So if he is a bit concerned about that, he's always got the blue as second prize. But pink it is.
Been a pretty good start this from Ali Carter in this match.
7.
He's potted 2 or 3 really good balls so far. Okay, lost position first time he was in, but
8.
at this level you'd expect him to win the frame at this visit, the second time of asking.
$30. $14.
Being straight on the black won't be a problem. Just screw back for that red near the right-hand side cushion. Already got a 35-point lead. The black will make it 42. So 3 more reds, and that would be enough to secure the first frame, although he's just slightly off straight on the black. If he screws back for that red near the side cushion, he'll go very close to it. So maybe try to force it round off 2 cushions. That'll do nicely. That will do nicely. Absolutely inch perfect on this red.
$22.
Just got to judge this little cannon on the red to the right of the pink. Quite easy to slip behind it. In fact, he didn't even risk it because of that. So left himself low in this red. There's a little sarcastic nod of the head.
29.
He's not had the cue ball on a string, you'd have to say, in his 2 visits to the table. But not many pots away from winning the first frame.
$30.
But it looks like he's not going to clinch the frame at this visit either, unless he takes on the blue. So although he's been potting balls nicely, he's just not got the speed of the table.
Quick glance at the scoreboard. Well, he's eyeing up the blue. I suppose he's got a bit of insurance, particularly with that red by the yellow. It's not as if he missed the blue and Ronnie would have a clear chance to win the frame, so he's taking this blue on. Oh, beautifully struck. Didn't put all his eggs in one basket, i.e. stunned the blue in.
35.
So this red to the right of the pink is tricky. Yeah, it was tricky.
Ali Carter, 35.
So, 2 good chances Ali's had and not sealed the deal. Ronnie comes to the table 56 points behind, but a possible 67 remaining.
One.
But as I say, it's that red near the yellow that's going to be a big hurdle to get over.
$8. $9.
That was a lovely shot.
Yeah, just didn't get into that
60.
cue ball. He wanted to be this side of the middle pocket. Lucky not to going off.
70.
In goes the red. Not great on the black. Might be value, particularly with the misrule as it is. Just tucking Ali up behind the black here. Well, pink. Trying to cannon the red away from the yellow. This is a very positive choice. But of course, it was my mistake. He needed to pop the colour, otherwise he'll need a snooker. And that's why he didn't trickle up behind the black. Played the more positive shot on the pink, but having missed the pink, he's now 39 points behind. 35 on, and this red does cut, so for all money, first frame, Ali Carter.
Quite an interesting little thing there. Ali Carter remained in his chair until Ronnie had sat down. Obviously, we don't want any repeat of what went on the last time these players played in the 2-table setup.
$7.
It's been a good start to this first frame from Ali Carter. Okay, he's not been in one visit, but he's potting. Looks on point. Just lost position
9.
a couple of times, but it's been a pretty confident start to this match from him.
$12. 60. $21.
Well, needed a couple of chances, but in the end, it's
Ali
quite a
Carter.
comfortable first frame for Ali Carter. He leads 1-0.
But that's all very well because it's better to play with, but you've got to be used to it. So it depends how much practice you've had initially with a new cue, let alone whether it's got a different type of ferrule on or not.
Yeah, there's so many questions we're still finding answers to, and obviously this is the first time Ronnie's used it in competitive situation in the first round of the World Championship. But Ali Carter looking very sprightly and very confident as we head back to frame 2.
Well, that's a helpful kiss on the yellow. What I've noticed so far in this match is that Ronnie's getting a good line with the safety, but he's just overhitting everything. But, as you say, there's a big difference between being on the practice table and coming out in a competitive match. It's hard to say what's going on in Ronnie's mind at the moment. I think I'd like to see him get an easy starter and see how he performs with a frame or a break winning or a break opportunity.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt. You know, it's when he gets in amongst the sort of pink and black, a chance to make a big break or a century. It's like riding a bike, really, for Ronnie. That part of the game will be no problem at all. I expect him still to score heavily if he gets chances. It's obviously the department when it comes down to if you're 50 odd behind and you need to make a clearance to pinch a frame. Those are the things that, because he hasn't been playing a lot of tournaments, those are the things that can be sort of last to come back. That sort of sharpness in match play.
As an example, he's playing that with a lot of right-hand side to check the cue ball. That's why he caught the red much too thick. He couldn't just play it plain ball because he'd have been on nothing even if he'd have potted it. No value playing that into the middle. Chance of a long pot from Ronnie, which, unlike him in the first frame, he didn't seem to be wanting to be tempted by anything that he's put in the difficult category. This is another decent line, but overhit once again. Can't find that baulk cushion at the moment.
Yeah, the moment Ronnie's treating his opponent, he's treating the match, treating everything with a lot of respect. The minute he's playing himself into this, I suppose he doesn't want to start going for everything, leaving his opponent in and find himself sort of 3-4-0 behind before he's even had a chance to get his hand on the table. Ali, he's not shied away from the pots yet. Didn't strike that one as well as he has been. You get a chance like this, where the black is, you sort of, you're glad to be at the table, obviously, but your heart sinks a little bit when you see where it is. So he's going to have to do a bit of work to get that black into play.
One.
That's a fabulous shot. Remember the cushion. And just with that one shot, the pink is now in the open. I'd be surprised, John, if Ronnie isn't inspired by playing here. I mean, he's had such success at the Crucible. So many great memories.
6.
You'd be surprised if it didn't get his juices flowing.
Yeah, absolutely. When you've got the talent that he's got, you relish going out in front of a packed audience and showing them what you can do.
7.
That cue ball needs to run a little bit. And it has done. That's okay. Straight enough on this blue to be happy with it. And as Stephen mentioned a few shots ago when Ronnie potted that great ball into the middle, the pink's in the open, and I think the pink may not be able to go back on its own spot. And if that is the case, then the pink going on the black spot would be ideal for this visit.
12. $13.
Yeah, it'll be tight whether the pink is on it, but he didn't want the kiss on the second red there, so he's not ideal yet. I assume the pink doesn't go into the right corner. If it did, he'd have been down playing it by now. No, it's too tight. So it's another blue.
I wonder if he'd be tempted if he's got the angle to play for black here, because there's another red in the black cushion, so he wouldn't have to do a lot with the cue ball. No. Back up for
90.
blue. Again,
24.
chance to play for the black. See the left of the two. There are his options to pot here. I'd be surprised if he doesn't play for the black.
Well, it's certainly guaranteed position, such as the way he is on this red, and he's only got to just bounce the cue ball slightly. The only thing is, if he plays for the black along the cushion, then you'd think he's going to have to play a red along the cushion as well, so two difficult shots to play. This will give us an insight as to how confident he's feeling.
25. RonnieO'Sullivan. 25.
Well, they can always be missed, but I have to say, I don't know why he played it like that. He could have just rolled it in dead weight and still had the angle on the next red. Anyway, good chance. It's gone.
1.
Well, it's only the second frame of this session, but this is, I feel, is quite an important visit to the table for Ali Carter. Just to, if Ronnie is feeling he's not totally relaxed yet, being out here again, keep him that way.
Eight.
Not the best shot he's ever played there. He's got this red to left middle. I don't know what sort of angle's on it, whether he can get to the right side of the blue, the far side of the blue. Well, he has got a bit of angle there. But these are, you've got to treat these with respect. Not the easiest cueing either. So it was a poor shot from the black from Ali Carter, you have to say.
Nine. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, his main concern was he couldn't get the cue ball away from the side cushion. He's got to be very precise now with his positional shot off the blue. I'm not certain what's available. Obviously the red just above the black. But he's got to be very precise if that's the only red he can play for. Well, is there another one? There must be, surely.
14.
No? He wanted to play on the red that's just to the left of the black now as we look. He's looking for a second option. I don't think there is one. No?
Ali Carter 14.
Just his cue ball at the moment is letting him down. But that can come with a little bit of tension in the arm. But it was a let-off for Ronnie.
I suppose one of the things Ali's got to deal with today is, I mean, I'm sure he's told himself he's expecting Ronnie to be at his best, but you don't really know because we've not seen Ronnie play for 3.5 months, so it's a bit in the unknown, a bit in the dark, Ali, about what to expect from his opponent.
Has he got the cover? No. Well, I say no. No.
One.
I mean, if the pink... There's two reds in the middle of the table by the pink spot. If the pink, when it's respotted, doesn't interfere with that, then it's a straightforward shot. Well, he missed the pink in the
RonnieO'Sullivan 1.
first frame when he was attempting to get back in the frame. And that's another one that's missed into the middle. Slightly concerning.
Yeah, he sort of trudged back to his seat, Ronnie, didn't he? It was a pretty slow walk. Ali's got to take advantage of these early stages. If Ronnie is, as you would expect, a little bit rusty, he's got to try and stamp his authority on this match. And this is a better shot.
6. Seven.
Well, I said it would, but he obviously couldn't play for the black, and that's not a good shot either. So again, cue ball control has not been good enough yet for Ali Carter.
This blue to make the points all square.
$12.
Pretty good shot that was. He's on this red. You're screwing off these reds. You just got to always be aware of that right middle pocket.
$30.
Oh, good kiss in the brown.
Yeah, good kiss on the brown. The only downside in playing that shot is put a red tight against the right-hand side cushion. You can't win the frame without that red.
$70. $80.
Now maybe think about leaving an angle on this black
25.
to disturb that red away from the right-hand side cushion.
$26.
Maybe not from this. He needed a bit more angle than this. Well, he's got a fair angle, but it'd be too risky to force it up. If you had a thinner angle, you could have just rolled the black in and got the cannon. But that red
33.
is going to be the key to this frame.
Yeah, I was thinking if he got nicely on this red, you could screw back and move that red off this one. I don't know. Don't think he's got the angle, so it's going to have to be from the black.
34.
So now this is the big shot in this second frame. He only needs the red. Black puts him 29 in front, but he's not on it. Ronnie will come back to the table.
41.
Not sure if there's room behind that yellow to get the cue ball in behind it. Doesn't look like a lot of room there. Is he playing a double? No.
Cheers, Ali. Thank you. Ali Carter.
Well,
40.
I don't know who's into your mind, Stephen, but that is a poor safety. This red pots. Didn't play the pot, opted for the... Well, he was trying to get a snooker behind the black. Just don't see that touch at the moment in Ronnie's strike. Just seems to be overhitting everything. It could be a bit of tension in the arms. He's not immune to nerves. No player is.
No, it has to be a huge occasion. I mean, for both players. Obviously, Ronnie, as soon as he announced he was playing here, there's a huge build-up to this. And obviously, this match, these two have got such a rivalry that you'd be shocked if both players were, you know, really calm and weren't suffering a little bit. And that's not the best shot from Ali Carter.
So off this red for Ronnie, any colour and the 6 remaining colours for the frame.
Well,
It couldn't have finished worse, that cue ball. Okay, an easy pink. Can he play it and get position on the yellow? It's a tough shot. He's got to miss the black and the blue. Oh, he's played it perfectly. What a shot!
7. Nine.
Well, I say he's been overhitting everything. He's just about got past the baulk line, but this is a tricky green now.
$12.
Well, that was a better shot than it looked. Played with a load of left-hand side to keep the cue ball near the brown.
60.
Check it off the right cushion.
And inch perfect on the blue. Blue, pink and black. And it's a bit of a steal. But it put his first frame on the scoreboard. And as we always say, you never really relax until you do that.
27.
Well played, the shot from pink to yellow was top draw. And it paved the way for RonnieO'Sullivan to win the second frame. 1-all.
Perfection, that was certainly settling down.
Absolutely. Just takes a while, would you imagine, first time you're using that in serious competition, to get used to it on a match table, Steve?
Absolutely. It's not something that I would advise. I tried playing with a plastic ferrule, which is even lighter than titanium. The shots are totally different, especially your aiming points over distance. Even safety shots become difficult to play, let alone potting with side, which is what most of the top players do. So it's an uphill battle, but if anybody can sort of cope with that, the genius that RonnieO'Sullivan is, maybe he can. But usually you're all at sea when you're playing with a different characteristic cue.
Well, he's all in here. 1 frame apiece. Back we go.
wasn't playing the pot there. That was a miss-hit. Might not be too much damage done, particularly if he's left this red straight. Not much Ali can do with regards to getting position on the colour. I was just trying to birdie it, but does this red go to the right middle? I think it does.
One.
Yeah, I mean, it might... Well, it's maybe too early to say it one each, but I don't know whether Ali Carter has missed an opportunity already in this session in not winning that second frame.
6.
To really sort of keep Ronnie, if he is feeling a little bit edgy, just keep him in that way. Great shot. It's a shot you very rarely see going into the pack from the black
14.
with topspin. It's a very effective shot.
15. $20. $21.
Just lost the cue ball slightly. This black should have been easier. And it caused the miss.
RonnieO'Sullivan, 21. One.
Got to start punishing Ronnie by winning these frames in one visit, because even if he was winning the frames in 2 or 3 visits, it doesn't really make your opponent feel that uncomfortable. But if your opponent knows that every time he makes a mistake he's not getting back to the table, it's a whole different ball game. And again, quite in perfect position. Just
8.
everything's just a little bit awkward. This shouldn't be a problem.
9.
To me, it doesn't look completely relaxed yet, Ali Carter. Doesn't look completely at ease out there. And got away with one there, I think. Don't think this was the plan for this red to right middle.
60.
Yeah, to me, everything just looks like a split second rushed.
$70.
Perfect on the blue this time. I think there's a couple of reds just above the black available into the left corner. So I'll keep the cue ball on the right hand side of the table as we look. Just a soft screw. Well, I decided he wasn't happy with it, so played the cannon. And once again, he's not perfect.
20.
He can pop this red to the right corner, but whenever the thinner than quarter ball, always a danger you can lose the cue ball.
If he doesn't want to play in and out of baulk for baulk colour, he could. The pink's in not a bad position. I'm not sure if he can hold it short of the baulk colours here. No.
23.
So, yeah, it's all a bit scrappy at the moment from Ali Carter. I mean, it looks like his cueing well enough and potting well enough, but he just hasn't got the cue ball under control. He can't seem to string 2 good positional shots together in a row. As I say, it's understandable. Huge match for both players, actually. Neither of them have settled yet.
The most obvious red you'd like to hit is the one that's tight to this top cushion. That's the one that Ronnie's aiming for. Once again, it's a bit pacey, and it's a bit narrow.
Foul, and a miss.
Well, miscalled.
Count of 4.
Not certainly be taken. He's got a red that's available into the far left corner. I mean, you could have it replaced, but then Ronnie could get it right next time around. No, it's wide of the mark. Got to be honest with you, I fancied him to get that. Wasn't too difficult to pot, didn't have to do much with the cue ball. Ronnie could put him in big trouble here. Can stun and get the snooker behind pink or brown.
Cheers, Ronnie.
So, tried to get him behind the pink, didn't manage it. 6 points in it. Ali Carter in front. That was a good safety. Good line, good length. Not putting any pressure on Ronnie, but Ronnie needs to reply with one here and find that baulk cushion. This is a better line and an excellent length. That's as good a safety shot he's played all match. Well played. Well, that good safety shot has forced the mistake from Ali. He's had a bit of a result that 2 of those reds have gone near the left-hand side cushion, but that's a problem for later for Ronnie.
1.
Not the best chance, but it's a chance.
Six.
Points all square.
7. $40. 50.
Well, took that opportunity to bring those reds into play, but cue ball has finished
20.
tight against the side cushion. Only advantage with this red. Doesn't have to do much with the cue ball. Oh, I thought he'd have played the one into the right corner. It's the one to the far right corner. He's staying down. Right in the heart of the pocket. Thinner on this blue than he would like, but I think he can get into it and avoid the kiss on the red near the top cushion. Well, and he's played it beautifully.
28. 29.
So this blue to go 28 points in front, deciding to play for the tricky red along the top cushion. It needs to slow down a bit.
34.
This red and a black to leave Ali needing a snooker. No. No, it was always on the high side for me.
34.
A carbon copy of the black he missed, isn't it? Just maybe a slight deceleration. That's what happens. You miss pots thin. You just decelerate through the cue ball.
Well,
Ali Carter, he just cannot seem to control the cue ball. Just a little bit of adrenaline there, maybe, but he's left himself a horrible little shot. The black here for the rest.
Well, Ronnie just needs the red.
well,
Well, I'm not certain what to make of these first three frames, Stephen. Ali's had plenty of chances, but he's just not punishing Ronnie at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, the match is so early, but I think he's missed an opportunity to sort of keep Ronnie cold, as it were. He's had lots of chances. Even the frame, he won the first frame, although he was putting good balls. It took him 3 chances to win it. He had at least 2 or 3 chances in the second frame. And that chance there, just really poor positional shots.
13.
It's not Ronnie. In terms of being one of the best front runners the game's ever seen, he's just going to get stronger.
70.
And he feeds off opponents' weaknesses like no one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's not been vintage Ronnie O'Sullivan.
28. And the frame.
He won't be bothered about the black. Ali Carter once again had his chances, didn't take them. 2-1, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Indeed, that's what looks like we're beginning to see. Ronnie is starting to feel a little more at home on his return to the Crucible. That we go. This is the last before the interval.
Yes, and I would suggest a big frame for Ali Carter. You know, you always want to reward for your efforts, and if he goes into that mid-session interval 3-1 behind, he'll feel as though he's got nothing for it. OK, he'll have a frame, but the chances he's had. And that was well wide of the mark from Ronnie. But the red ran safe. Snooker done all reds, but simple shot, big target, just come off the side cushion, nestle into the cluster.
Touching ball.
Well, that makes it a bit easier for Ali. These type of shots, you're trying to find the middle of the ball. Well, where's the cue ball going?
Foul.
Well, that's
Ronnie
amazing.
O'Sullivan full.
That is a bad misjudgment. So Stephen, we were concerned how Ronnie was going to feel and play. Whether it's had an effect on Ali or not, I don't know, but he looks the more nervous of the two at the moment.
Well, Ali's game has gone very ragged. I mean, that last shot, that's what you see amateurs do. Come off the cushion, hit the blue. I mean, he had all the room in the world to get the cue ball up to the bulk end. You have to say his temperament's letting him down at the moment, Ali Carter. He's not coping with the situation, or the fact he's had chances and not taken them.
Well, if Ronnie's not left a clear path to this red over the corner, which you can see he hasn't, he's been a bit fortunate there. But Ali's determined to get this red away from the pocket, even if he doesn't pot it. But there's a chance he will.
What?
Chance he will. Nice swerve, controlled swerve. And on the blue.
Yeah, you tend to know how Ali's feeling. He exudes sometimes when he's frustrated and angry, and I think he is at the moment. I think he's simmering. Sometimes he can transmit that into good play. Sometimes it gets to him and he loses his composure. Again,
6.
not the best cue ball, to say the least. How does he get a colour from here?
7.
Well, he doesn't. Yeah, as I say, he's simmering at the moment, Ali. Whereas I think with Ronnie, GV's all these interviews, he's been playing everything down, hasn't he? Like expectations and everything. I think he's, I wouldn't say he's happy to miss shots, but he's putting up with it better.
Yeah, he's not letting it get to him, but, well, that's a bit of good fortune for Ali. It's okay. You could hear the sigh. Not that much too thick. Didn't find the baulk cushion and left a couple of pots on here on the left corner, but I think this red in the middle of the table would just pass the blue.
One.
It did, and a nice strike and perfect on the blue. At the moment, blue on its spot, pink out of commission. Just wonder now, will he, off the next red, try and get the black on its spot? Not from there, he won't.
6.
And having said that, that red that he's just cleared away would have been blocking the black. Should it have gone back on its spot? Just a bit short with position. Wrong side of the blue.
Yeah, Ronnie's played as many, or pretty close to as many poor position shots as Ali, but it's not affecting his composure down on the shot.
13.
You can just see in the body language with Ali Carter. Yeah, to me, he's lost his composure in this match.
Well, that was a little bit of a surprise. I thought with the angle he had on the blue, he could have played that with a bit more pace. Well, if he's on this red, that's okay. He can open reds as he pots it now. So it's awkward queuing.
Now,
what are you going to do with a bit more pace this time? I see no reason why not.
I think the apex red will just hit the left side as we look. Yeah, just like that. because he knew he had the other red to the left of it just to keep the cue ball in play. Like you, I thought he might have gone a little less pace than that. But he hit, as I say, the apex red on the button.
25.
You posed an interesting question at the start of this match.
27.
How Ali would feel as how Ronnie was playing. And yeah, that can affect you sometimes, because sometimes you think, well, I'm playing Ronnie O'Sullivan, I can't miss a ball, I can't make a mistake because he's going to punish me. So he doesn't see it with the clarity of view that we do from the commentary box, that Ronnie's made mistakes.
Yeah, it was a tough draw for Ali, not just because it's Ronnie O'Sullivan, that's stating the obvious, but sort of unknown what Ronnie O'Sullivan's going to turn up. I suppose
33.
Ali and his coach Chris Henry would be telling themselves, well, just expect the best of Ronnie O'Sullivan to turn up, but it hasn't been that way, and
34.
the fact that I said Ali hasn't stamped his authority because of that, that's putting more pressure on him to do so. He's thinking, oh, Ronnie's not playing that well, I've really got to win these frames.
39.
But as we see, Ronnie seems to be just getting more and more comfortable. He's got the cue ball. The cue ball dancing its tune at the moment.
Yeah.
45.
Only 2 points to lead. These three reds, nicely in the open, will be more than enough
46.
to take him into the mid-session interval with a lead. Ooh, just a little bit short. Has he got a slight angle on this blue? Managed to force one.
51.
Yeah, the interval is going to come at a good time for Ali Carter, just to sort of calm down. Maybe go in the
52.
practice room, put a couple of balls, get his pace, because I think whether it's due to the situation or not, things look just, says not a lot, but just a little bit rushed for me.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. There was a couple of times where he
57.
just needed an extra second to think about a shot, and he got down and played it.
58.
And that will keep him in his seat. Well, he'll keep him in his seat until Ronnie's finished, and then he'll go to his dressing room. But certainly signs that Ronnie O'Sullivan now is relaxing into the occasion, and that's what this has been, and this is what it's been billed as. It's an occasion.
65.
It sort of wasn't so much of a match as how it would unfold, and looking at these early exchanges, it's Ronnie O'Sullivan who's looking a lot more
72.
at home.
73. $80. 82.
It'd be lovely to see a century from Ronnie. And he's got it, so he's on track for
85.
it. This could be a little bit easier.
89.
1,282 centuries, career-wise.
94.
Cue ball needs to run. Perfect.
100.
1,283. Wonderful. The rocket. Have we got lift-off? Goes to the mid-session interval. 3 frames to 1 in front.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Yeah, thank you, Hazel. Well, an intriguing first 4 frames. But in a way, Stephen, I was just thinking, Ronnie making that century and playing O'Sullivan-esque, if you like, might just relax Ali a little bit more. He knows he ain't going to get away with it just by picking up the pieces. He's got to start playing well.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something in that. I think the first couple of frames, Ali, maybe because Ronnie was playing a few un-Ronnie-like shots, maybe he was put himself under more pressure to try and capitalise. And now that Ronnie's, as you say, shown more of the real Ronnie, at least he knows what he's up against now, Ali.
Another long pot, though, from Ronnie that was well wide of the mark. He didn't look happy, and why would he be? I mean, a mile away in snooker terms.
One.
Decided not to make that pot more difficult with playing a lot of left-hand side. So he used the pack. He's on the blue, wrong side of it. Played that well. Not nothing, but when you're digging down like that,
6.
control the cue ball nicely. And he can, I think, run through for the black here into the opposite corner. Oh, but well wide of the mark. And that was poor cueing from Ali.
Ali Carter 6.
We know he can blow hot and cold temperament-wise, and that wouldn't have pleased him one little bit.
Yeah, that's the sort of miss that sends shockwaves to your body. Completely mishit it. Not being punished, though.
One.
Well, with that angle that he had in the red, I'm surprised he didn't go up for blue, because he was always going to leave this cue ball close to this cushion. Now he's put himself under a little bit of pressure to pot this black. Yeah, well done. Just got to take a few deep breaths, you feel, Ali Carter.
8.
He's getting chances. He's just not been composed enough to take them.
9. $60. $70.
I think he's a rather up red going. Well, I say that. At least if he pots the black, the next red, he's there waiting over the corner, but tricky black this. a good shot.
24.
Slow drag on tracer right hand side. Doesn't want to pot the red too thin
25.
though. That's nicely played. So if he can get the red that's directly above the black, if he can just go into the pack just to the left of that, as we see. A bit of screw in the cue ball. Now there's two reds that maybe going towards the left middle. Maybe he's got to be a little bit careful. But if he can get in to the left of that red and screw the cue ball through the reds. Basically took his eye off the pot, concentrating so much
25.
on getting the right contact on the pack. And a little bit fortunate, Ali, not to leave anything easy for Ronnie O'Sullivan. No, it's safe to say Ronnie's long game is not on point yet. He refused 2 or 3 pots, didn't he, in the first frame, Ronnie? And he felt like that was already, he didn't really need to take on there.
No, I suppose he took it on thinking he'd stunned to the baulk cushion and wouldn't leave anything apart from the red he was playing. But, yeah, maybe in practice his long game hasn't been on point. And he's not that confident with the long potting because he's played a couple that, to be honest, haven't really found the jaws. This red is on to the left middle, but it's difficult, and I don't see where the colour comes from.
Yeah, cue ball's running towards the bunch of reds. It's actually quite a little tricky situation, this, for Ali Carter. I mean, do you try and pot the red and just take the 1 point and then play safe?
Yeah, well, I suppose if he potted the red and he wasn't too badly hampered, the black it would be cuttable. I played safe, got to avoid the double kiss, didn't. But at first glance, no harm done. That was always the problem with that shot. If you caught it too thin, you were going to run into those two reds near the right-hand side cushion. This red does cut. It's thin, so you won't have much of an idea where the cue ball's going to finish.
What?
Well, it wasn't as thin as I thought, and he controlled it nicely.
Don't know if they're the red near the right middle pocket. If he plays the blue off baulk cushion, right side cushion, we run inside, try and get into the bunch, but that red might be in the way for that shot because it's a nice target to come into the bunch from the right hand side of the table. Still played the shot, just didn't get enough side.
6. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6.
Just thinking, John, apart from the century, it's not been the best standard this match, but it's still fascinating to watch, isn't it?
Absolutely. As I said before, it seems it's not so much a snooker match as an occasion. This is a nice shot from Ali. And if he covers the escape route down the right-hand side of the table, it's a telling safety. OK, there's an escape route down the left-hand side, but Ronnie's got to be careful he doesn't knock a red towards the right corner.
Foul. Ali Carter,
Well, enough, but he knocked that red to the right corner. Caught the safety much too thick.
One. Yellow ball.
Had to play the yellow. Knew that
3.
this next red would be difficult. Needs a good pot. And he was screwing back into the other reds. Needs a bit of luck for position.
Four.
Played it well. Played it very well.
Ten.
Oh, he must be just on this red below the pink. Only just, I feel.
Cheers. Thank you. 11.
On the blue, but the wrong side. But slowly but surely, he's building up a useful lead.
$60.
So 45 points to lead. 3 more reds required.
$70.
That was nicely controlled. You play for one of these reds now on the right-hand side of the table. Sort of trying, well, he's just pointing his cue there. Try and get the cue ball near the cushion. And the red that's furthest away from the cushion, either for the middle or the right or left corner. bit firm.
22.
Quite a big margin of error there. You'll be disappointed with that. .51 points to lead, still a possible 67 remaining. No. Well, he might be happy with the result of it because he's going to finish. Oh, if he didn't flick the brown, he gets the snooker. But it's not a good chance, and he's not made the most of it. Decent length of cue ball there from Ronnie. He has left a pot on. The red closest to the pink will go to the left corner. If he could get his hand on the tail, there'd be no hesitation playing it. But he'll run into another red if he plays the pot. So he chose to play the safety. And he couldn't have played it much better than this. That's a good shot. Well, kissing the blues, normally not a good thing, but that red just stopped short of the corner. Don't think it's potable. Ali having a look. Now, playing safe. Trying to get in behind the brown if he can. It's a good line. It's a very good line. Oh, just a fraction out. He's left the pot on now then. Let's see what Ronnie can make of this. He's been so far away with his long pots. And that will give Ali Carter encouragement, you would think, the fact that Ronnie's long potting. He's well off the mark at the moment.
One.
Wow. Once again. Very poor positional shot from Ali. It's hard to fathom at the moment, his cue ball control.
Well, nothing to do with the cue ball here. Should he pot the green, it should be automatic on the red next to the yellow to the same pocket. Didn't play the flick in the brown, but it's okay. It's frame ball. 55 ahead, 59 on.
Can just get enough of this red, as Stephen said. Frame ball.
5.
Oh, the puff of the cheeks when he potted it. It's been anything but convincing. Needing a handful of chances to win these frames. As I say, that doesn't put any fear into your opponent, really. It was a big frame for Ali Carter, even though he's missed that red.
Ali Carter's
Ronnie will bother coming back to the table. He is doing. A bit careless to miss that.
Yeah, if he'd have potted that, it would have kept Ronnie in his seat. So 58 points behind, 51 remaining. 2 4-point snookers needed.
1.
Taking the pink, it's now 2 4-point snookers to tie. So he needs to
7.
get the black here, otherwise it would go to 3 snookers.
8.
Doesn't really want to move the brown away and putting this black here. It's in a lovely place for a good snooker, and he hasn't done. Could lay a real nasty snooker behind that brown. Maybe not at this instance.
Another glance at the scoreboard, 51 points. Sorry, 43 points behind. 35 remaining. 2 4-point snookers to tie. It's unlike Ronnie to carry on in these situations, but
15.
maybe he just feels as though he needs a bit more table time. It's not a bad thing for him to carry on. Oh, well, he might concede now. And he certainly will now. He'll look at Ali and say, it's yours if you want it.
Yeah.
And they have agreed, so...
Ali Carter 4. And the frame.
Once again, Ali Carter getting plenty of chances. Once again, he needed 2 or 3 chances to seal the deal, but he has in the end. 3-2, RonnieO'Sullivan.
You can really sort of get some side spin on that you didn't know you could do. You feel like you've got more cue power. But it's effectively, when you go out on these really fast cloths, you are a little bit like Bambi on ice.
OK, well, so far, Bambi on ice, it's not, but RonnieO'Sullivan still with his nose in front. Frame 6.
Yeah, talking about Ronnie's long game, whether it's anything to do with the cue or not remains to be seen. But to me, he's overhitting them. He's hitting them too hard. Again, whether that's to do with just rustiness being out here on these tables, because it doesn't matter how many hours and hours you spend on practice tables, they're never going to be anything like as reactive as out here. But like Ali Carter's making so many unforced errors. She's not putting any pressure on Ronnie. Ronnie is feeling a little bit uneasy being out there for the first time in a long time. He's making it as comfortable for him as he can at the moment.
Once again, you see the advantage of being ambidextrous. That'd have been a tough shot for most right-handers, but the way he can switch hands is remarkable. He's another good pot here, left-handed.
Nine.
Yeah, but stroked in beautifully. And what we have seen, Stephen, of course, when he's in and around the black, you know, and not having to play things from distance, his touch is still there.
Yeah, as I said, this stuff's like riding a bike with Ronnie. This is the easy part of the game. Well, this would announce himself back on the stage, wouldn't it, JV? Third black coming up. I know I've gone quite early there. That was a little touch shot that's
20.
very unlike Ronnie. He's still got the red to left middle. He'll still be able to stay in the black, but played for the red that's closest to the cue ball to right corner. And you have to say, it was a mile off.
RonnieO'Sullivan. 24.
And once again, that'll be encouragement for Ali Carter.
One.
Wrong side of the blue, so he can't get close to the next red unless he goes in and out of balk, and I can't see him wanting to do that.
Six. Seven.
Well, it has to be said, another poor positional shot. Wanted to be a lot straighter on this black than he is. A nice pot, and nicely on the next
40.
red.
Yeah, it looked a simple enough shot, but it's one of the best shots he's played for a little while, Ali.
50.
That was always missable, those cutbacks on the black, and judged the cannon perfectly. Sometimes can be a shot as innocuous as that can just tune you in again. Just playing a shot properly.
$22. 23.
I think he may just be okay. He's having a close look. This red immediately below the pink. If he can get it, no problem. He's got the red to the right middle, and to be fair, he doesn't have to do a lot with the cue ball. That red definitely goes, but might just not be able to get through to it. The one to the right middle, as I say, badly hampered. But when you've got nothing to do with the cue ball, it just makes the pot that much easier. And that's the one he'll have to play.
It didn't need to go into the reds there, but felt the angle on the black was just too good to refuse. And I agree, it was the right shot.
$31. $37. 38.
So this black to go 21 points in front, and all the reds he needs in the open. No excuse for not winning the frame now at this visit.
45. $46. 52. $53. 60.
Just taking an extra split second as the cue ball's closer to the cushion than he wanted. And, well, in the end, it got to him.
60.
He didn't hit that well at all. And it's been a sort of blight on Ali Carter's career, that just not letting things go. And then he just hit that far too hard.
What?
Well, if it was normal service, JB would say that's probably going to cost Ali the frame, but a little bit of uncertainty in Ronnie's game this afternoon.
Yeah, and he's not perfect on the colour here. Seems the obvious one is the yellow, but so now he can get good. Well, maybe the red on the right-hand side of the table. I was going to say goes to the left middle, but he'll settle for that. And just a little screw back, I think, for the blue. I decided to play for the pink, so well, I don't know. I thought if you play for the blue, you leave one of these reds to the left corner. I don't think they're available into the right middle, are they?
Totally agree. Straight on the blue. Basically leave the cue ball where the blue is. Choice of both reds to left corner. It seemed straightforward. And that's maybe just another sign of rustiness, just not thinking properly.
Nine. Ten.
Good pot though. Choice of yellow or brown. It's all about position now on this last red, which is in the open. Doesn't want to kiss it. Well, unless you kiss it like that.
12.
Yeah, there was a little smile from Ali. It wasn't the worst kiss that Ronnie got in the red. But I'm sorry, Ali, but these shouldn't be Ronnie O'Sullivan's points. It should be yours.
Yes, and this will hurt.
80.
Just signs, I thought, that Ali was just getting the cue through nice and smooth and not
20.
hitting things too hard. But if he loses his frame now, which he will do, if Ronnie can take these 5 remaining colours. I always say the key shot to these clearances is this shot coming up, brown to blue. If he gets perfect on the blue, it's a formality.
27.
Yeah, it's exactly this sort of frame, pinching it, that will make Ronnie feel at home again in a match.
32.
Hasn't been straightforward in terms of positionally.
38.
Didn't get perfect on the blue. That's why he had a long opinion. He could have played it better than this, but black for the frame. Right in the heart of the pocket. Well, that is a steal and a half. Ronnie O'Sullivan gets back to 2 frames in front. 4-2.
Today, and that's not really like him, and I think he kind of suits being quite fired up. So, yeah, just needs to get on his toes a little bit more, I think.
Okay, back we go. Frame 7 of a definite 9 today.
Yeah, I think John Ronnie would have got more pleasure out of that pinch in that frame than the century break that he made before the interval. As I say, that's That's what sometimes you're waiting on coming back if you haven't played matches for a while. That ability to sort of switch on when you need it and make a frame-winning break.
Yeah, and it's nothing like winning a frame, so to speak, against the head. Once again, can't get into the jaws with the long pots. I mean, a shot like that, it's just a plain ball shot. It's nothing to do with side. I mean, I know he likes to play with a trace of side on most of his pots, but that was a plain ball shot. Even then, he couldn't get in the jaws. No damage done, though. Catching the bump, that's no good. Blue's covering what you'd think was the easier red, but I think the red closest to the right centre, does that go to this right corner? Well, maybe not. He's not playing it, he's just playing the safety.
Yeah, Ali's really got to get himself together here because he doesn't want to lose the last 3 frames, which could easily happen. He doesn't get his focus back, his composure back. 7-2 behind. The match is gone.
Another long pot for Ronnie to have a go at.
Just wonder if he fancies playing it slow for a cannon to the right of the black, leave the black to the same pocket. No, he's played it at pace. And a good kiss on the ping. There's a wrong angle on it. He's going to have to go in and out of bulk.
But he knocked the red in clean, which would be a little bit of boost for his confidence for shots to come, you would have thought.
In the end, the ping was straight enough
7.
to hold for this red.
8.
Not sure if the red beside the black pots. No, it doesn't. Black will still pot. It's respotted here.
Yeah, maybe the red will go now. Into the left corner. I don't think it'll go in the right corner, but when you're replacing this, it can't be touching the red.
50.
He'll be playing for the blue here. Can't play for the black into the left corner. Needs a good angle on the blue.
16.
Nice angle. May well go into the bunch here. Hoping to maybe completely open the black up as well. No, decided against it. Let's let the cue ball run on.
20.
A good few inches too far, actually. Very un-RonnieO'Sullivan-like. The best cue ball control the game's ever seen when he's on top form.
22.
That was a nice little shot to hold for the black. But this is not easy. Floated it in. And now he's got a chance to play for the black. Finish just off straight, a little bit low. And able to just move that red out of the way.
29.
Yeah, the shot that Stephen has just described could be the key to this frame.
30.
No, he's not low.
37.
Well, even though he's been out of the game competitively for over 3 months, he's not lost any of his pace. Still 17 seconds a shot, average
38.
shot time.
He can still get into a position where he can pop the black into the right corner as long as he finishes high on it. But with the red just fractionally to the left of the black, I don't think he can come low on it. He's having a look to see whether he can. I mean, if he can come low, then he can do that shot that Stephen suggested a little while ago and bring that other red into play. Well, he feels as though he can. Key shot coming up. He did move it. What's he on? Nothing easy.
53.
Well, has he got straight red? This needs good cueing. And got it. Wonderful
54.
shot. Yeah, very good.
Obviously made easier from the fact you're 4-2 ahead and not 4-2 behind. Said round about the black spot, it's like he's never been away.
62. $69. 70.
Big 2 frames coming up for Ali Carter. This match is already running away from him. And he's had more than enough chances for the scoreline to be different. That'll be the most disappointing thing for him.
78. $85.
Well, it doesn't matter about the red. Damage was
85
done.
on the front.
Superb. Great player from Ronnie of 85. And he goes 3 in front now. 5-2.
It's just great to see him in full flow.
Yes, well, he did experiment at sort of emergency sessions with Lee Walker, Mark Williams' coach, for a little while. I know that helped him. But as you say, he's ploughing a lone furrow again, and so far the comeback is looking positive as we go into the penultimate frame of this opening session.
I think one of the things that you have to admire today with Ronnie, I think his temperament has been absolutely superb. Okay, you could see in his face he's not been happy with some shots he's played, but by the time he comes back to the table, he's forgotten all about them. Whereas I don't know if you could say the same about Ali.
Yeah, and to be a great champion, you need not only the great ability, but you need a very good temperament. And just that clearance in the frame before last just showed you that he's still got it. He might doubt it between his ears, but from what I'm seeing, that was a tremendous frame to steal and will give him confidence and knock the confidence of his opponent. Well, eyeing up a long pot here. Another tester. Another one well wide of the mark. I mean, you could forgive him for saying, well, if you're not knocking them in, why go for it? maybe he thought he'd go over the miss on the long pots, but it was a risky shot to take on.
Well, it remains to be seen if it's a risky shot. I don't know whether Ronnie thinks that Ali is not punishing him. I mean, that's why he's still trying to find that long game. Ali's not won a frame in one visit. So maybe Ronnie feels a bit in a comfort zone at the moment where he can sort of test out his technique and go for these shots until Ali starts punishing them for those. He's going to keep going for them.
Six. Seven.
Couldn't get the right side of the blue, so I had him to leave a mid-distance red. Normally well within his range, but 3 frames behind. A little bit of pressure.
Thirty. 20. 21.
Again, I think the reason he stopped, he's tempted to go into the bunch here, I think. As long as he misses the red that's kind of above the black to the right, screws the cue ball to the right side, you think he's going to be on one. It's a risk. He doesn't have to take, but he's got such a good angle in the black. He's tempted to do it. Yeah, he's played the shot. And again, I think it's the right shot. Similar to the last frame, closer to the side cushion than he would have liked. And he control his cue action this time, not overhit it. Yeah, that was better. That was controlled.
$36.
It's okay, it's a little bit awkward. Shouldn't cause a problem. But once you have to get this spider out, this makes it a little bit tricky.
Cheers, Ali. Thank you. 37.
Played it well. Probably a bit straighter on the black than is ideal. But there is the bottom red of that little cluster below the pink available into the opposite corner to this black. It's a case of judging the pace and running round of 2 cushions. And played it well.
44. 45.
He's found the side cushion again. It doesn't make this black any easier.
No, and it's a shot that 5-2 down becomes so much more difficult. Yeah, well played. Well played, Ali Carter. That was not a nice shot to play, knowing that you're leaving the whole
52.
table on for your opponent.
$53.
So 60 points the lead now.
60.
Red, colour red. That's all that's required.
$61.
And that cue ball hasn't run far enough. Misjudged the kiss off the second red. This is a lot thinner than it should have been. This black and one more red, all that's needed. Let's coat with the thin black first. Safely in.
$68.
And in goes the red, so he's played this break very well. And Ronnie, and in the back of mind, Ali will be now thinking about that last frame of this session, and what a big one it is. Will Ronnie have a 3-frame advantage or a 1-frame advantage? Ronnie O'Sullivan can't be behind, of course. So it's a big last frame coming up. There's been mistakes, Stephen, but it's been
77.
intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't take your eyes off it, can you? So, say it's not been the greatest standard in the world, but it's been fascinating to watch. But this is a really important visit from Ali Carter, because I'm not saying Ronnie took a liberty with the red he went for, but
84.
I just think he took it on thinking he wasn't going to be punished, because Ali's not won a frame in one visit.
85.
So for that respect, I think it's really important that Ali's done this.
$92. $93. $99.
Wants this red for career century 437. Well played. Well played, Ali Carter. I agree with you, Stephen. This will make him feel an awful lot better. He's been struggling with the cue ball. And it's been an excellent contribution. And to bear in mind as well, when Ronnie did take that pot on,
107.
Ali would have felt, well, that's a bit of a liberty, if you like, to take that red on. Anyway, he's given the ultimate punishment, and he wins the frame in one visit for the first time today. Big frame coming up. 5-3, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, it's huge, the attention he brings to the game, the way he plays the game. You know, it would be amazing to see him go on and win an 8th World Championship. And I think with everything that he's been through and he's spoken so openly about with his mental health issues, you know, first and foremost, it's just great to see him back competing.
Sure is. First things first, though. Last frame of this opening session. Back we go.
Decent break-off from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Good reply from Ali Carter. Playing this red in the open. He's only playing safe. He's not going for the pot. Well, he did go for the pot. He's knocked it in! Well, would you believe it? He kidded me there. Stroked it in. Sweet as a nut.
Yeah, he's persevered, hasn't he? With the long game, and got his reward there. Stunning, opening red. Not quite followed it up.
8.
With a good positional shot from the black. Going round to see if there's a gap between the pack of reds and the black. He can get the cue ball round. A couple of cushions. Maybe go up for the blue.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well, I'm not sure how much you knew about that shot.
Yeah, but you settle for it, wouldn't you? It's worked out a treat.
$16.
Just not straight enough to be able to run through for the black in the opposite corner, so bit of work to do with the cue ball here.
17.
Nicely played. Now, choice. Cannon into the pink or play for the one loose red. Where's the red going? Well, how many times do we see it happen?
Ali Carter 5.
He couldn't have hit these better, but somehow a red went in the corner. End of break, and I think he may have left a path to this red to the left corner. We'll have a look. Well, it's tight, but I think he can just bend it with a tracer left-hand side on the cue ball. I think this is possible. No, he didn't turn it enough.
Yeah,
Didn't turn it enough.
I think Ali kind of...
That's enough now.
When it came to table, he was sort of smiling that obviously Ronnie got away with it, but it wasn't a difficult shot. And it kind of, because he was so much thinking about how unlucky he'd been, it put him off playing what looked a straightforward shot.
One.
Finished on the blue. Not great on the blue. Having a look at the green. Not sure whether that's any better. The problem is with the blue, because it's a thin cut, you feel as though he's going to run into the reds, and that could mean loss of position, whereas the green, you can guide the cue ball on a clear path. Delightful.
Seven.
And another lovely little shot, just developing those
40.
two reds. And I think the one thing that struck me in this match, and he started, I thought Ronnie looked a little bit all at sea at the beginning, but I just feel the competitive juices are starting to flow.
Oh, that's the thing for me is that I think is his temperament.
22.
He's played a lot of bad shots, but it's not stopped him coming back to the table the next time and playing a good shot. Whereas I think his opponent has not let go of things that have happened today. We're saying that Ronnie's played another one. Is he on the pink? It's in the middle? And even if he is, where's the next red coming from? Well, incredible shot, and he's hit it too well.
He had to be so accurate with that.
29.
As you say, Stephen, he's played it too well. He's got a 41-point lead. We're looking for this red to the far left corner. This will take some potting.
RonnieO'Sullivan, 29.
Played it in such a way that the only red he could leave was the one he was playing. It's a nice enough lead, but plenty of snooker left in this frame, and what a big frame it is. As I said, can Ronnie get a 3-frame advantage, or can Ali cut it to just 1? Big difference. Well, he can get through to this red. Need another good long pot. He's already potted one in this frame. But not this time. Has he been lucky? He has. Looked as though he was going to leave an easier red to the far left corner. He's left one to this left corner at this end of the table, but it's not easy. Ali just having a look at the 3 reds in the middle of the table. The top one, well, the top one does go. In fact, the left-hand one goes. Big shot. And played it well. Is he on the pink? Is he on the pink? Has he bounced far enough up? The referee will be keeping a close eye on this.
Well, looks from our view that it pots, but we're not getting the exact down on the table view. Yeah, no problem. Tough ask to win the frame at this visit, but he can get right back into the frame.
Eight.
Well, that could have gone wrong. Didn't mean to flick the black, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a little bit reticent to play the black because I don't know where the black will go. If it goes in the pink spot, it might block up these 2 reds. So he may be forced to play in the blue. It's a natural angle in the blue into the yellow pocket, just to stun down. The electricity, JV, in the crucible. In a minute, you can feel it.
Yeah, this is what the World Championship and the Crucible Theatre is all about. Moments like this.
14.
As we said, massive frame in the context of this match. So this, the last of the open reds.
20.
Now the hard work begins. Now it's imperative you get good angles. In this case, off the red, whatever colour he plays, get a nice angle to make it easy to get on the next red.
21.
Maybe never had the angle in the red, but yellow would have been an ideal colour to play for there. Could have gotten the red on the baulk line, moved the other one out the way. Left-hand side. Is he going to snooker himself? He is. I'm sure he'll take this red
28.
on into the left corner. Nope.
Ali Carter. 28.
Shot. Good shot. And attack on the table from RonnieO'Sullivan. It's been played in good spirits, you have to say. There is electricity, say, between these two players, but it's been played in good spirits this afternoon.
Foul and a miss. Ali Carter.
Sure, the pace missed call won't be taken, that's for sure.
One.
Not sure what angle he's got on the brown. Doesn't really want to be straight on the brown here. That's not bad. Okay, he's going to have to get all the equipment out to get to this
5.
red, but just wonder if he can play it and screw the other red out off the cushion here. Say, not an easy shot when you're using the extension, the extended rest.
Yeah, it's a good call, that, Stephen, but the problem is he's going to play then with a lot more pace, and you play it with pace and it makes the pot just that touch more difficult. Now he's just going to drop it in.
Cheers, Ali. Thank you.
Well, unless he pulls out a perler, if you like, off the yellow, he's going to have to ram this yellow into the middle pocket and screw it on
6.
and off the baulk cushion. I don't see how he can get on this red.
I think if the roles were reversed, I think Ronnie would have played the screw shot, try and move that other red out. Got on the colour. So good safety shot now required.
Yeah, and the safety shot would have been a lot easier
8.
had he not been hampered by the brown. It's a little bit careless. Just 1 point in it.
Fascinating end to this session. It's been a fascinating session, actually, but this is an incredible climax to it. Is that cue ball to run? I think it's just got there. He's got the snooker. Easy swerve. Can you keep it safe?
Now, where's this cue ball going to go? Has he covered the path to the red? No. It pots.
Huge shot. That's brilliant. Well played, Ali Carter. Arguably, with the chances he's had, he could be in front in this match. But that's a fantastic pot under pressure. Oh, he's not played that well, though. That was not a good strike. Should not have been using the rest here.
Yellow, green, brown and blue to get within 1 at the end of the first session.
Cheers. Thank you. 10.
Just about got past the baulk line. But a delicate green to get good position on the brown. But as I say, green, brown, blue, all that's required.
Well, it's just shown what a battler Ali Carter can be. As I say, he's not been anywhere near his best. Neither has Ronnie, you have to say. But
70.
I'll be absolutely delighted, Ali Carter, if he can get it here 5-4. He's played a fantastic frame since being let back in by Ronnie.
22.
Yeah, I think at the early part of the match, I think both players were a little bit tense. There was a lot of
28.
nerves out there, but both players have settled down, and I think we've got a cracking session to come tomorrow afternoon. Ronnie O'Sullivan takes a one-frame advantage, but every credit to Ali Carter. What a tremendous clearance that was. Within 1, 5-4.
Carter, can the rocket launch into the second round here at the Crucible? Let's find out. John Virgo and Stephen Hendry in the comms box.
Yes, thank you, Seema. What a second session this promises to be. And of course, always great to be sat next to 7 times champion of the world, Stephen Hendry, to cast his expert eye over proceedings. And it's, when we talk about the pressure on Ronnie, you feel it when he walks in the arena, the ovation he gets, the expectancy that is put on his shoulders. But he's got to produce today. As I say, I didn't think his long potting was up to scratch. I think he needs a bit more, Stephen.
Yeah, it was a kind of subdued performance in a way, which, you know, judging by the interviews he was given before about, you know, it was really sort of deflecting everything, all pressure away from himself. Saying he didn't expect to do a lot in this championship. But there is always, from everyone else, huge expectation on Ronnie O'Sullivan. Ali Carter won't be gaining any good vibes from that effort. Yeah, it was kind of building up nicely, wasn't it, at the end of the session? You didn't want it to end yesterday, did you?
No, and I always feel with the first session, when it's sort of 3 each or something like that, both players have one eye on the second session, don't they? You know, the business end of it.
Cheers, Ronnie. Thank you.
Because, as we say, and it's an old cliche, you can't lose it, or you can't win it in the first session, but you can go a long way to losing it. And that's why when Ali was 5-2 behind to close the gap to 5-4, he'd have come out, I feel, the happier of the two.
Six. Yeah, sure.
There's the high breaks, funny enough, both made 107.
Do you want this?
That was the highlight of that first session. And as you said, Stephen, when Ronnie's in amongst the balls, it seems like business as usual. It was just his long game that was concerning.
Cheers. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, funny enough, near the last couple of frames, he did pot a couple of really nice long balls yesterday at the end. It's like it took him a while to sort of find that range. In the beginning, he seemed to be slightly over-hitting the long balls in the beginning.
12.
Not the best opportunity, this, at the moment, because you can see where the pink and black are. Not easy to get this break into a position where you can win the frame, possibly, at this visit. these sort of situations, when Ronnie's at his best, I love watching him, because a situation where it doesn't look like there's a frame winning break on, he manages to solve the puzzle and create the one visit to win.
So far, so good. Last couple of blues right in the heart of the pocket.
$19.
I'll be a little bit disappointed with that one, though. Wrong side of the blue.
$24. $25.
Well, it's not great, but it could have been worse. At least he's got the yellow to go at.
$27.
I don't know if he's got the angle. Wise, maybe too much. I was thinking maybe if he had the angle to screw into the red and pink. Not quite got that angle to do that, so back up the table
28.
again. You always want to err on the side of too far, because obviously if you land short in the blue, it's no good. If you go too far, at least you've always got the bulk colours available. The only reason you'd like to be on the blues with an angle is you could cannon into the pink and just bring that into play. He's having to pick these reds off one by one. That was beautifully struck. It's getting more and more difficult. Cue ball back up the table. There's a little gap here. Got to watch the right middle pocket though. Oh, nicely played. Again, too far in the blue.
Now the red that's in the open above the black. If he can get the perfect, well, he's just not hard enough. I was thinking if he could get the perfect angle, he might be able to play that red, which he's going to have to play now anyway, because it's the only possible ball. But if it's a right angle, he could have maybe brought the black into play, but no, he'll have to go back up for the blue. But another one right in the heart of the pocket. But once again, when we saw this yesterday, just keeps over hitting it. And I can only put it down to the cue. And that's as good as he could have done, but he couldn't avoid putting the cue ball near the cushion. I'll be surprised if he carried on, unless there's a plant somewhere. Obviously, you can see a red that can pop, but no value in that. Is there a plant? Well, he made it.
Well, he's already scored more than you would think was on when he came to the table, and it's slowly developing into a chance to win the frame without using the pink or black.
44.
I think already, John, there's a difference in Ronnie's body language compared to yesterday.
Yeah, and I did comment yesterday. It took quite a bit of courage to come out yesterday, because it's well documented the way he's been feeling. And I was just hoping, that positional shot's gone wrong, that having come out yesterday, it had made him feel a bit better about himself. The fact that he did come out and he played reasonably well at times.
RonnieO'Sullivan, 50.
Now, in the end, it was a step too far to win the frame at that visit. I mean, it was a very decent 50 break.
Well, that's a red he'd have expected to pot. He's not left anything, but it's a shock to the system. He'd have been on the practice table knocking that, oh, well, Ronnie's got to swerve this. And played it really well. And that little bump off the middle has made it even better. So even though Ronnie's got a 50-point lead, he can't afford to give Ali Carter the next chance. Played that nicely. Little tap on the table from Ali. It's been playing in very good spirits. There's a lot of talk before this match. Somebody said they hate one another. I went, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Of course they don't. They're competitors. Well, that time, Ali has gone for the red, and this time he's not got away with it. So here's a clear-cut chance for RonnieO'Sullivan to win the first frame and extend his lead.
Yeah, it's not been a good start to the second session for Ali Carter. He's not really played a good shot. Every time he's come to the table, he's played a bad shot pretty much. He needs to settle down
7.
quickly. Everyone knows how Ronnie can rack up the frames. This match could quickly get out of Ali's hands. As I say, if he doesn't get himself into the game, get himself focused and composed.
$40.
Impressive start, though, this from Ronnie.
15.
As I say, it's every snooker player's dream that when they come out and they find in the middle of the pocket with every pot. Okay, he's had it all his own way, but his first break, that contribution
80.
of 50 was excellent considering the pink and black weren't
19.
available. Just the start he'd been looking for. Good stuff.
25. 26. 32. 34. 37. 41. 46. 52.
started off with a break of 50.
On the frame.
And that's second contribution of 59. Kept Ali Carter off the scoreboard. And that's a wonderful start for Ronnie O'Sullivan. 2 clear, 6-4.
Yeah, you can't let Ronnie run off into the sunset. Ali needs to settle very fast here. This match could get away from him quick.
Good break off from Ronnie. I think he's snookered Ali. Oh, is there a gap? There's always a gap. He doesn't think he can hit the red thin enough, so quite easy. Just got to be careful sometimes. You can just slide off the cushions, and that needs to run. Got there.
Touching ball.
Touching ball, so that's handy for Ronnie, just to explain the touching ball. Just firing away, he's deemed to have hit the red, because if he hit the red he was touching, that would be a push shot. You know, the tip of the cue hitting the cue ball and the object ball simultaneously, so allowed to fire away, and as I say, deemed to have hit it. Perfect length.
Yeah, he's got a snooker again, but it shouldn't really give him a chance, Ronnie. I think we'd probably rather let Ali see the bunch of reds and have the cue ball tight in the cushion. Then he'd have to play a shot off the bunch. You wouldn't expect Ali to make a mistake here. Maybe, possibly the green is just blocking the natural angle to go into the side of the reds.
Yeah, and he can't really come down the left-hand side as we look, because there's a possibility he could leave a red on. But that's what he's doing. Got to get into the reds just below the pink here. Don't want to slip by them. It's a bit pacey. It's a bit pacey.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think any reds actually pot, so he's going to have to do something here. Brown of 2 cushions into the side of the pack. Oh, just didn't want to. Well, it's worked out perfectly. I was going to say you didn't really want to make contact with the pink there, but I think he's on a red to right corner.
Yeah, had a quick look at it. Looks as though he's on 2. Couldn't wish for better than that.
6.
Yeah, it looks far more alert and up for this afternoon. I think he seems. He's obviously happy he's got that first session, as you were saying, John, that first session out of the way, where he maybe wasn't sure how he was going to play. Looks bang up for this now.
He's lost the cue ball. That will annoy him. Just when you get into a nice flow, careless positional shot.
Yeah, I thought he might be tempted to go into the reds there. It was a big target.
O'Sullivan 90.
He obviously trusts his cue ball control, as you would, to land on the red. It's got Ali Carter in trouble again. Can maybe just get to a thin edge of the reds.
I'm not quite certain he can get past the yellow without playing a trace of left-hand side. The problem is with left-hand side, if he catches the red up, maybe he can. He doesn't have to use side here. He's okay. Plain ball will do the trick. But even then, he caught it much too thick. Much too thick.
He did play it with left-hand side, checked it, and then played quite aggressive safety shot. That's a risky plan against Ronnie O'Sullivan. You've got to get the good cue ball.
One.
Nice pot and nice result with the cue ball. He could have been hampered, but he can cue through the gap of these two reds. Boy, that helps. Well, he can't. He is slightly hampered. But he struck that ever so well.
8. No. $14. $15.
We'll be getting concerned with how we saw him in his seat there. I saw him just after that first session. He looked upbeat, having closed the gap to 1.
22.
But he's shown us nothing so far in the second session.
23. $30.
Glance at the scoreboard. 49 points the lead. Still looking for three more reds with colours.
$31. $36. $37.
So this black, one more red in the cover to get to Snooker's required. As we always expect from Ronnie.
40.
Wonderful control of the cue ball. And as you said yesterday, it is like riding a bike for him, even though he's not been playing.
45.
This is where he's at his best, like you say with most players. Having said that, just let that cue ball run loose. But no problem, in goes the black and he's on the next red, which, when he pots, will keep Ali Carter in his seat.
52. $53.
Yeah, he's got a lot to think about, Ali Carter. He's got to do something and do it
60.
quickly.
61. $68. 69.
I wouldn't say it was as pinpoint a cue ball as Ronnie is best, but it's it seems to be improving with every frame that he spends out there.
Yeah, I think when he's playing in around the black and the cue ball's not travelling too much, it's par excellence. But I know what you're saying. When he's been going up for the blue, and we always used to say about Ronnie, that was his great gift. He always got perfect on the blue, but he's overrun it a few times.
85.
But the practice is getting in. You know, it's a funny thing to say, but he'll be getting more and more used to this cue. And he couldn't have wished for a better start than this.
Yeah, and the fact that Ali hasn't played a good shot yet, Ronnie just feeds off opponents' weaknesses. He's the ultimate bully on the snooker table. He won't let up. That's why Ali's got to do something pretty special, actually, and pretty quickly.
99.
Absolutely wonderful. Great builder extraordinaire. 1,284 career centuries. A joy to watch. Wonderful.
417 on the frame, RonnieO'Sullivan.
3 frames clear now. 7-4. Now then, will Ronnie be tempted? This red to the right corner. I don't think he's got a safety off the main cluster. He's taking it on. These were the ones he struggled with yesterday. And, well, not close with that one. That was his Achilles heel, if you like, yesterday, his long potting. And he's not got it safe. He's left a pot on for Ali. So Ali pot this red. He's not potted a ball so far in this session. So this red, to get off the mark, needs to find position on a colour.
One.
Well, he's got a beautiful angle in the blue if he chooses to go into the pink here. Looks like there's only one red to play for, so I would suggest it's the shot. Be aggressive. Missed the pink completely. Not sure if this red goes past the black. The way Ali's walking around the table.
6.
I think it does, yep, easily so. I wouldn't say it's quite panic stations yet for Ali Carter, but this is a very, very important visit to the table. You've got to show Ronnie that you're still up for this. Oh, I think he's been unlucky. I think he's been very unlucky. Okay, I think he might have caught the wrong red.
40.
Going into bunch, we'll see it here. Doesn't really want to get the one, the one directly above the black. Didn't want to hit that one. But to not have a single pot, very unfortunate.
Ali Carter 40.
Yeah, having to bite the bullet and play safe, but at least he didn't miss. As I always say, it's a simple thing. If you pot the ball, at least you get to play the next shot. Whereas if he'd have missed, he'd have gone back to his seat feeling a bit bad about himself. But Ronnie there purposely playing that thin than thick to get the cue ball back to ball. But the kiss on the yellow has not made it a good safety shot now. So there's a chance here for Ali. Beautiful cue action, pushes the cue through straight. It's well within his range. Was he left it. Can Ronnie get past the brown? I think he can. Might have to put a trace of right-hand side on the cue ball. Well, Ronnie's just having a look to see where the black goes, so that tells me he thinks he can pot this red to the left middle. I think he might need a trace of right-hand side.
One.
He's going to be on nothing here. Because the way he was having to play the red into the middle, he couldn't really avoid the kiss on the second red.
Black ball, thank you.
The referee's just said touching ball, nominate your colour. He'll nominate black, which he has done. And as I say, with the touching red before, firing away, he's deemed to have hit the black. Bit of a weak safety, it has to be said. He was looking for the baulk cushion. Only just got past the baulk line. May not have left anything, but once you leave your opponent with his hand on the table at this level, you fully expect him to play a better shot than that.
Well, it might turn out okay for Ronnie. Ali fancies taking this long red on. If he doesn't get it, maybe one of those situations where you play a poor safety shot, but you still get an opening. That's a fantastic shot there. Couldn't have cued that any better. Not out of the woods yet, though. This black is not a certainty, especially when you're 7-4 behind. In the end,
Ali Carter won.
Pressure was too much for Ali to pot that black.
Yeah, if you were an Ali Carter supporter, that would be very concerning. Didn't even get in the jaws. And as I say, normally a great technique, Ali. Oh, but he's been let off. Just thinking, Stephen, one of Ali's weaknesses, and it always has been, is his temperament. Missing these shots like he's doing, it won't be helping him psychologically.
Yeah, you just end up trying too hard as well. You've seen Ronnie win the first two frames, you're 3 behind, you're desperate to get into the session. So intimidating to play against Ronnie O'Sullivan because he accumulates frames so quickly. They wouldn't mind maybe 5-10 minutes of safety play just to sort of take the sting out of the match a little bit.
Yeah, it was a tough shot, that, as you saw, when he was just off the cushion striking down. He was putting left-hand side on the cue ball. And didn't catch it right. Could have caught the blue full in the face, and Ali would have had an easier pot than this, but it's a pot, it's a chance.
1.
You said, Stephen, last time I was at the table it was an important visit. I think it's even more important now.
Yeah, and I always think when these important visits to the table, breaks you have to make, if a player's going to miss a pot, it's normally in the first 3 or 4 pots. If they can get through that stage, then you start to feel a bit better. You get into a rhythm.
Six.
Played that quite nicely. He's on the black, I'm sure that's the colour he'll be taking, unless the pink's straight enough to be able to just screw across and leave a red to left corner. But if the last time he was at the table was a half chance, this is a real chance to win the frame. Has to take it, you feel.
$12. $13.
Now an opportunity to get the black on its spot. I think you'd have played it before, but
90.
if you have a decision to make, tossing a ball and not having to use a cushion for position, you prefer that. But this time I don't think there'll be any hesitation. Play for the black, get it on its spot.
Cheers, Alan. Thank you. Yeah. 20.
Not going to need the 2 reds near the left cushion as long as he pots the other 5 with colours that are all in the open. So it's just a matter of composure here and just keeping control of that cue ball.
27. $28.
That's not the best shot he's ever played. The cue ball's far enough away from the cushion, but this needs hitting properly. Yeah, it wasn't the best shot to leave himself on the black. He shouldn't have been that close to the side cushion, and he'd be furious, Ali Carter. I'm just wondering, not taking advantage of that. Well, that cost him this match in the end. It was a huge visit to the table.
1.
Yeah, this shot here should have been much further away from the right cushion with the cue ball. And that's the thing in top class snooker, John, isn't it? To be able to control the cue ball under the most extreme pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. You get that little bit of tension in the arm, but you've still got to control it. And as Stephen said, the problem was, if it had been further away from the cushion, he could have got his hand on the table. That black was unmissable. Nice cannon there from Ronnie. Of course, the big problem for him will be those 2 reds.
60.
Near the left-hand side cushion. So it's not a formality, this, but what a big visit this is for Ronnie. I'm certain he was sat in his seat a few moments ago thinking, well, this frame has gone. It's alive now.
$23.
But nothing relaxes you or
24.
gives you confidence, apart from your own play, is when you see your opponent missing blacks off the spot. Has he got the angle to screw the top red off the cushion here? Leave the other one. Oh, he might be on none of them. Unless that red squeezes past.
31.
Tight.
Very tight. He's down quick, he thinks it goes, but it's tight.
32.
And of course, that's the big advantage, being able to play with your left hand, but he's not perfect on this black. A bit of work to do with the cue ball.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, the cue ball will be a little bit closer to the cushion, but what a shot.
Yeah, it's just the side cushion making it awkward. Another left-handed pot. In it goes. Nicely on the black. What a steal and what a frame. And Ali Carter had two great chances. Missed two blacks off the spot. And it looks now for all money. It's going to cost him this frame.
Yeah, and he stole a couple of frames yesterday. And this is the thing that if he was a little bit match rusty,
47.
stealing frames is sometimes the last thing that comes back. Or it's the
49.
If you do it, it's the one thing that makes you feel good about your game in matches. This is, well, this will make him feel better than the century break
52.
in the last frame.
$56.
Just the blue for 8-4.
61. $67.
O'Sullivan. He's certainly turned it on for his supporters this afternoon. Ali Carter, very worrying times. He now trails by 4.
Right, well, he's 8-4 ahead. Let's go into the final frame before the mid-session interval.
Another good break off from Ronnie. Snooker and Ali on all reds. There's a couple of loose reds either side, so he's got to be a little bit careful. Down and played it very quick. And he may have left a red to the far left corner here. Didn't put a lot of consideration in that shot.
Yeah, that was not good from Ali. You've got to try and tell yourself, if you win this frame, get to the interval where Ronnie's still needing 2, you're still in this match.
The problem with playing a double, if it doesn't go in, you're never certain where the red's going to finish, and this red that's just missed the right middle is available into left middle or far left corner.
Well,
he made certain of the pots and a couple of flicks, and he's got a shot at the brown. Even a shot at the yellow. Depends how he feels he can control the cue ball. Yellow it is.
$3. 4.
Playing up for the blue, he was hoping to get a good angle on the blue to play a cannon. Can't do it now. He tried.
9. RonnieO'Sullivan 9.
Decent safety that from Ali. The only red that Ronnie can hit is the one that's adjacent to the left middle. This isn't the easiest safety shot. He's got to catch this just right. And he didn't. Now, what's he left? Do you know? I think he's got away with it. Just looking at Ali's body language. There's a red adjacent to the left middle. He can't get through to that. And there's another red to the left middle, but I don't think it gets past the one near the pocket. Or does it? No. Ronnie very fortunate there. It's never been any different, you know, in this game of snooker. When you're in front, you always seem to get a run of the ball. What about the other guy? Well, he was forced into playing that. There's so much pressure. He knew if he missed it, he was going to leave something for Ronnie. He's got this thin cut to the left middle. I mean, now he'll be thinking, well, why wasn't I left an easier chance than that? But as I say, that's just the way the game seems to go. When you need a bit of luck, never get it.
Yeah, doesn't like the thin one to the left middle. Just can't obviously think that it can steer the cue ball back up the table.
What?
Well, if the black goes into the green pocket, that's not the worst kiss in the world. Yeah, clearly goes, so he can pot the black, get it back on its spot. And it'll be off and running again in this frame.
Eight. Nine.
Played that delightfully. It's a shot that sometimes can go wrong. You get into it a bit too much pace. Inch perfect.
$60. 70.
It just shows you when you're playing the very best players in the world, you need to be on it from frame 1, from shot 1. Ali wasn't. Played 2 or 3 bad shots in the first frame. Missed long balls by a long way. Ronnie got into a rhythm. And there's been no way back.
20.
Last frame was obviously the killer for Ali Carter.
25.
Yeah, I think at the end of that first session, for me, there was quite a few questions to be answered, but I think JP in the studio hit the nail on the head. Like they say in horse racing terms, he benefited from the run. Just blew the cobwebs away, if you like. Got those competitive juices going, and as you say, Stephen, those frames where you need to clear up the last few reds and the colours,
30.
not only steals, but just makes you feel good about your temperament, if nothing else.
31.
Well, he's always been one of the best in the world at doing that, stealing frames. And I suppose if he was unsure how he was going to play coming back to this World Championship, he might have thought, am I still able to do that? And he's proved to himself, as well as everyone else left in this championship. He's definitely a runner for it, there's no doubt about it. No matter what he says outwardly, JV, he's definitely a contender.
Absolutely.
35.
I mean, obviously the things that are happening to Ronnie off the table, but you can only base it on what we see. And what I've seen so far today, it's been beautiful. Okay, he's not got that quite right. He played that with a lot of left-hand side. Much too thin on this black. Bit wide. Will it drop? Oh, just gravity.
43.
Yeah, any more pace on that black, it wouldn't have gone in. Basically, because it was the last roll. He got enough of the pocket. But yeah, it looks like this match is over as a contest. It probably was after the last frame, but
51.
It's being confirmed now.
52.
Just a little tricky shot to play. This black to go 68 points in front with 67 remaining. Hampered. No difference. In goes the black. And just looking at it from Ali Carter's point of view, how disappointing. As I say, at the end of that first session, he looked upbeat. He closed the gap to 1 frame.
60.
And I'm certain he was coming out today thinking, right, if I raise my game, I can give Ronnie a push all the way. But he's just started the first 4 frames as he did in the first session. Poorly.
68.
And that's an honest assessment.
$75. $76.
I think the red just below the pink is available. Well, he needs to run on a bit, the cue ball. Referee will keep a close eye on
83.
this. Yep, no problem.
84.
A possibility now of his 2nd century in this afternoon session.
$90. $91.
Oh, wonderful. It makes it so much easier. I mean, I couldn't tell you how difficult it is to switch hands. It's remarkable.
96. 98.
As I said before, 1,284 career centuries. 285. His third of the match. And at the moment,
105.
it's like he's never been away.
$110. 116.
Absolutely superb. So not the start that Ali Carter was looking for. 4 frames to Ronnie O'Sullivan, and now just 1 frame away from a place in the last 16. 9-4.
It's just a case of Ronnie looking for the first chance to get it done and dusted.
Can Ali Carter find a way back? Let's take you back to your commentators, Stephen Hendry and John Virgo.
Yeah, thanks, Seema. One thing Ronnie O'Sullivan has never struggled with in his career is getting over the winning line. And already, after that poor break-off, he's got a chance. Red to right middle.
Put him away now. Put him away.
Decent enough safety shot there from Ali. I think now it's just a case of, from Ali's point of view, pride in performance. Always, if you're going to miss that shot, you wear on the side of it, isn't it too thin? Now Ali can't get past the blue for the red to the right corner. This is a tough one, but at the point of no return, he's going to attack. Of course, it's made that much more difficult when you're playing a deep screw to try and get the cue ball back to balk. Left Ronnie a choice of reds here.
Yeah, I'll be really disappointed with the way he's played this afternoon. He's not really given anything, really, in this session. Obviously, the frame that Ronnie stole, he was in. Missed a couple of blacks off a spot in that frame, but his long game, Ali's has been a mile off this afternoon. You just can't keep putting Ronnie O'Sullivan in.
This looks to be an excellent chance. The black available, I think, into the left corner, so get on the red to the right corner. And then you can get nicely on the black. Just needs to slow up a touch. Overcooked it.
3.
Unless this is the red he played for. I don't think it was, but all depends now on the black spot area. Obviously, you can go up for the pink.
4.
Such an angle, he had to force it up for the ball cover.
Quiet as you can, please.
Played it nicely.
Yeah, such as Ronnie's prowess at getting over the winning line. Normal service, you'd say this is well, pretty much match over.
Six. 7.
It's just so nice. The way he goes about it. This red he's going to play now was obviously
30.
occupying the black spot. So he Didn't want to be potting the black until that red was
14.
removed. Makes it look so simple.
$21. 22.
A little bit higher on the black here. He's needing good cueing. Plays this shot, I think, more than most players, screwing off 2 cushions. A lot of players play it 1 cushion up for the red to the same pocket. Ronnie likes to screw it off 2 cushions with run inside, right-hand side in this case. Normally plays it perfectly. Well, obviously, when I say that, he's gone the 1 cushion.
Yeah, but I know exactly what you're saying. It's like it's stopped
29.
shot, isn't it? It's done off 2 cushions.
30.
And he never comments on his performance in his post-match interviews, but I think, quietly to himself, he'd be quite satisfied, I think. He said in some interviews that what's the worst can happen? I can lose 10-0, no home, so you're sort of deflecting a bit the pressure, if you like.
38.
I think he'll be satisfied, especially this afternoon. He's looked really up for it this afternoon.
And now all the reds in the open.
45.
All that he needs to get across the winning line. I might go a bit further, Stephen, and say I think he'd be delighted. Okay. Ali will be very disappointed. And I'm always disappointed for people who come along and just don't produce. And he's a great player, Ali Carter. But for some reason, he's not performed in this match, which has made it easier for Ronnie.
Yeah, I don't know whether the actual, because the match is obviously with the rivalry, it was built up quite a lot.
52.
On social media and the press and everything. What's happened before between these two, and whether the occasion got to Ali, I don't know.
53.
Because he didn't really find any form until the very end of the session yesterday, and he hasn't found anything today. So whether it's the occasion or not remains to be seen, but he'll be disappointed, as Ronnie will be with that positional shot if this red doesn't go to right middle.
60.
Just a couple of pots away from the winning line. And he's been brought to an abrupt halt, but he's taking this red on. And then it
61.
goes, and if he could have passed the ball by, he'd be nicely on the ball teller. And he is. So this green,
61.
or brown, although I don't think he can get through to the brown. Maybe just drop the blue in. He's looking for a colour and 1 more red. That's all that's needed. Yeah, feel for Ali. But you know that he's not performed well enough to get anything out of the match.
$66.
And that's match ball.
57.
Another thing, been out of the game for a while, is he still going to be as good at closing matches out? Well, here's your answer. First sniff at winning this match, and
74.
it's done.
75.
Yeah, I think another important thing from Ronnie's point of view, obviously we talked about the expectancy from the crowd. And he's turned on a performance, hasn't he? Which they all come and want to
80.
see, and he's not let them down. Wonderful snooker he's played in this session, in these 5 frames.
80.
I wouldn't it be just like him to put the icing on the cake and close out with a century, which will be his 4th of the match.
88. 89.
And as you said earlier, Stephen, it's
96.
nice to play well and get through the second round, you know, because the
97.
first round is a bit of a wobble, but he's done it in style. And then the shouts of, go on, Ronnie.
104.
No emotion, but I think underneath, I think you'll be
106.
delighted. Good performance, Stephen.
Yeah, and it's, you know, there was doubt whether he was going to play in this World Championship. For one, I'm delighted he is, because the tournament's all the better for it when you watch snooker like this, the way it's meant to be played.
113.
Very, very impressive. You have to say he's steamrolled his opponent this afternoon.
180.
5 frames without reply.
$124.
Losing track of career centuries, but it's another virtuoso performance by RonnieO'Sullivan, and I'm certain Ali will shake his hand, and Ronnie will sympathise with him, believe me, because Ali has not played, and Ronnie will know that, but I'm certain Ali wished him the best for the rest of the tournament, and RonnieO'Sullivan runs out a winner by 10 frames to 4, over and out.